Hallwell Tyson. I'm a community outreach worker. And this session there's an app for that, helping older adults gain awareness of computers, technology, and health. And your presenters are over here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They're from campus staff.
I'm Greg Pearson.
I'm Renee Williams.
And I'm Andrew Earp. Don't forget during the class, before it's over, to fill out your evaluation. Turn it over to them.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today our goal is to discuss different types of computers and technology and how they relate to living a healthy life, how they can help keep you mentally focused, mentally aware, as well as some other technology that's out there that can help you in your everyday lives. So a little bit about what we're going to talk about is first, what an app or application actually is. We hear that a lot on smartphones and tablets and computers. We're going to go into a little bit of detail on what that actually is, as well as some examples of that. We're also going to talk about what those applications are and being able to put them onto your smart devices, as well as how to access websites for get information for your Social Security, Medicare, some security about the technology and things like that, as well as credit score or your digital devices that you may have. All right, so whenever we're talking about our apps or applications, there's two main types that you see. There is your iPhone platform, or there's also an Android platform. And really the difference between your Android platform or your iPhone platform is kind of like Ford versus Chevy. It's just a competing system. Each have their strengths, each have their weaknesses, but it's really what works best for you. But again, these apps are available on both platforms. It really doesn't matter which one you have. Some of the digital devices, they can help you in your everyday life. One is called Be Close. Everybody's heard of Life Alert. It's basically a system that you can press a button and you can have you can get some assistance. This Be Close system is a little bit different in that it has wireless sensors that you can put in your house, so it will detect motion. So if you have a loved one or a friend that you can't get a hold of them, or let's say you're worried about them, you're going to be traveling, this system actually tracks and makes sure that they're up, they're moving around, they're doing well. It has different types of sensors. One for just a motion sensor that they can put in the living room or in a bedroom, and it will just report that there is motion in the house. The other one is a door sensor, and it will track if they went outside or they're coming back in, as well as bed sensors. So there's a whole bunch of technology that's built into this that can help you or your loved ones keep track of those individuals. Another one is Fitbit. That is kind of like it monitors how many steps you took during the day, make sure that you're staying active, can help you provide information about your heart rate, things like that. Another one is Brake Call Responder. That's very similar to the Life Alert. It is a GPS-based system, so it doesn't need a wireless network, or you don't need to be within around a cell phone tower, as long as you are not in a cave or something like that where you can't see the sky, or it'll work. You can press that button and it'll work anywhere on the globe. The Independent is a device that allows you to stay connected to your family and friends. It's a mobile device. And another competing system that is also called Grand Care System. Again, this has information on there that you can access about schedules, family members. You can send messages to them. It's just a good way to stay connected. Another one is Mobile Help. It's very similar to one of them we discussed earlier, where you press that button and it will send a message to somebody to come help you. TagSafe is a device that meters and will also set reminders and let you know whenever your medications maybe running low. and it will dispense those tablets for you as needed. The Telekin is another device that allows you to stay connected with family and friends, as well as look up other information. Maybe you want to keep track of blood pressure, or you want to keep track of other data. This device will help you do that and keep a record of that for you. Another one is TV ears. If you, your spouse, or somebody has, they're maybe a little hard of hearing. My wife tells me that I'm hard of hearing. And something like this would be great, because then you can sit there and she can be reading a book and I can be watching TV, and I can hear what's going on TV, and it doesn't disturb her. So that's a real nice device that is for people of all ages.
I'm sorry, do you have to wear?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it's like a set of headphones almost, but it's not as large and obtrusive. So, but yes, you do have to put them in your ears.
Speaking of that, could you speak in the mic? Because we got a lot of.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Do you have handouts for all of those?
No. We'll get them out to the offices. In fact, I think we could probably have some tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you can stop by the Cyber Cafe, which is right behind the registration desk, we can get your name and contact information on the sign-in sheet and send you information.
Where do you go to get something?
We need handouts.
Of course, the internet, right? That's where everybody says. but they're I'm sorry.
Amazon.com.
It's available there. I would also say that there are. Is it working now? Yeah. There's also stores that you can go to. Medical supply stores a lot of times will carry that type of equipment. I've also seen like the TV ears. I've seen those, I think, at Target or Walmart before. So this stuff is out there, and it's available. It's not something that you're going to see everywhere, but it is out there and available. And if you want to actually look, find out where it's available, at the Cyber Cafe, we can actually help you find that available in a store near you if it's available. Any other questions about that?
But even before we buy, we want to know what each, exactly what they do, and a little history behind what you're talking about. For some things, one piece we may need, and the other we don't. We don't know what to buy.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point. And like I was saying, some of the devices, they have some of the same functions, but one may be a better fit for you and what you need. And again, I hate to say stop by the Cyber Cafe for everything, but honestly, stop by there and we'd be more than happy to look that up and find out all the specifications and what details it has, and help you select the right one. Any other questions on those?
And all these work with smartphones, except for the hearing device.
Some of them work independently of the smartphone. Some of them will work with the smartphone. Some of the apps that we're going to talk about later are more based upon the smartphone, things like that. But yeah, some of them will interface with the smartphones as well.
Do you have to pay a fee? Do the motion detectors that you have with your security system that you have in your home?
I'm not sure what. I'm not sure if they're integrated with your particular security system. Generally, there is some nominal fee associated, maybe $10 or $15 a month for those devices. Again, it kind of depends on which device that you eventually adopt. A lot of them actually work with just your telephone. So if you have telephone service like a landline, then there is no additional charge. But some of them are cell phone based off of cell phone towers, and a lot of times that does cost, again, a small fee.
And these phones will call you. Who you put in? Your family member, police, the doctor? Who all that you are calling?
Yeah, it can, again, it depends from device to device, but a lot of them you can configure whether or not you want to have certain family members or friends notified, but you can also configure it to have EMS or paramedics notified as well with that. So, something else, another topic that we have for today is the Google Cast and GoGo Smart TV. And you can see them up there on the screen. Basically, they're just a small little device that plugs into your television. It doesn't work with all televisions. You need to have either a USB port or an HDMI port on your TV. And that is, well, let me just go to this.
Yeah, explain to us what that is.
So the USB port and the HDMI port, basically it's a fancy style of plug-in that most TVs, if you've bought a new like flat panel TV or something like that in the last probably 7 to 8 years, it will have one of those built into it. It looks like a little rectangle about 3/4 of an inch wide and about 1/4 inch thick. But you know, it's something that you'd have to look at or get a family or a friend that knows what those ports look like. Thank you. And they can help you determine whether or not you have those ports available on your TV.
Is there where you stream your TV from Netflix? Is that the same port that you use?
Yes, and in fact, that's actually what this technology does. It allows you to stream your media from either Netflix, Hulu, or even from your smartphone device. You can show your pictures that are on your iPhone, or videos, or something like that. Or if you have trouble seeing that little screen, you can stream it to your TV, and it basically turns your TV into the monitor of your smartphone. All right, so this is Chromecast, and what this is a thumb-sized media streaming device. Again, like we said, plugs into your HDMI port on your TV. It works with lots of different devices, as we said earlier, whether you have an iPhone or you have an Android-based system, it works with both. So you don't have to buy a specific device that only works with this media device. But again, as you indicated, it allows us to stream this information to the TV, so your videos, your pictures, things like that. It will allow you to do that, as well as, you know, like you said, Netflix, YouTube, you know, things like that, Pandora if you want to listen to your music. You can actually send the audio stream to your TV as well, so it's easier to hear instead of off the little speakers on your phone.
So you said it's called Chromecast?
Yes, Chromecast.
Yeah, you can buy those at Walmart or Best Buy or directly from Google, and they're $35. And it basically lets you stream from your phone or your laptop or your tablet.
So another one is what they call a GoGo Smart TV, and essentially what it does is it turns your TV into a computer. So it's this little, again, a little drive about this big that you plug into your TV, and you can surf the web, you can watch videos just like you were able to with the Chromecast. You can actually edit Word documents with it. It comes with a little mouse, so you can edit Word documents, send emails, things like that. You can even play games. You can get on Facebook, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But it's a really neat device that instead of having to have a dedicated computer sitting at a desk, this little device can just plug in and you can access the internet over your TV. Do you know the cost on that?
I think when I looked it up, I didn't even know about it until now, until we were working on this, but I think $129 online directly off their website. And it had you could use any keyboard with it. They had a keyboard that they sold that seems kind of expensive, but any wireless keyboard I think like that was good.
All right, so we've kind of talked about the technology side of that and the hardware. So we're actually going to talk about the apps. And basically what that is, it's a self-contained piece of software that fulfills the function of a particular function. Essentially, it's just a computer program. It's really not much more complicated than that. For most apps, again, you'll need to have some sort of an email account. A lot of times they want to send you information on that, which a lot of times you can unsubscribe from, but it seems like anything anymore that you do requires an email account, if nothing else, just to authenticate that you were actually the one that signed up for this and not somebody else. One of the apps that's pretty popular is called Lumosity, and what that is it's brain games essentially. It keeps you sharp. It is a simple game-based exercises where you might have to find different ways to accomplish a task. One of the examples that you see a lot of times is it'll have a box and you'll have two little plates that you have to bounce a ball coming in on those two plates and have it exit at a certain place. Again, it's just little games like that that you have. It's a timed event, and they're kind of fun, but it's been shown to improve your working memory and attention by about 20% in a lot of cases with just even 10 hours of training. There is a free option that you can do. It's a limited, you might have 3 or 4 different games that you can play, and then there is a subscription if you want to expand it to get other games. All right, so now Bené is going to come over and she's going to talk about Facebook.
Great afternoon, everybody. I am a Facebook person. This is how I keep in touch. I keep tabs on my children, and I get to share pictures of my grandchildren, and I get to spy on the ex-boyfriend from high school. And so, I'm just going to briefly today talk about how YouTube can do that. So, why connect? You can use Facebook to research. For example, everything that we just discussed with digital life, you can research and learn about it more in depth because it has a like a search browser there. As well as you can ask questions and you can share it, kind of like your own question and answer session. You could just think of it as a big old encyclopedia. Entertainment and meet others. I've moved on past the ex-boyfriend because I could find someone on Facebook. You can find work. There are sponsored, for example, say IBM, where they could sponsor an ad on Facebook, and you could connect through Facebook for coupons. Some of them are saying, for example, might say Walmart might have a coupon for shoelaces, 15% off, only available through Facebook. You can start a new business, again, with sponsored ads. Yes, ma'am.
Back to that coupon, then would you have to print off the coupon and just show it when you get up to the cash register?
I believe it would be one where you go, like say you click on it, and you go through there, they'll probably tell you your code, and maybe you could print it. Or I've never known a situation where I could take my phone in, but it's possible. Like a scan. Mm-hmm.
And you can print it.
Right. And you can start a new business or grow an existing business. For example, if I decided I wanted to sell my fabulous chocolate chip cookies, I could start that business through Facebook. You have a greater audience because since it's global. And you can even narrow it down to, you can have a target audience. Say, I want to sell to everyone who attended MIMA 2015. I can narrow it down to that. Anyway, Facebook would be a good avenue to grow your business as well. And of course, to keep in touch with your lovely grandchildren. Okay, so we have this, you have to picture this scenario where my grandchildren want to talk to me and I haven't figured out that I'm actually talking to the whole world because I posted on the wall instead of in a private message with them, I would like to think that they would quickly say, hey, Graham, you want to take this private. If you come by the Cyber Cafe, by the way, I can walk you through doing each one of these different steps. You can share photos and videos. You can also chat with them via text and video because you want to see little Susie's drawing, you want to see how she's doing it. And you can play games together. For example, there's a game called Word with Friends, and it's equivalent to Scrabble. And say I went on there and I managed to score 32 points with the word avenue. And then, let's see, what time is it? At 2:15. It might not be until, say, 4 o'clock, but someone could come back and if someone got challenged in a game, they can come back and they'd only get 18 points. They wouldn't out-best me. So it's a game like Scrabble, and that's just a way to kind of keep in touch with your loved ones. And I'm going to let Andrew cover the part about Social Security and Medicare.
We included this, we just want to make people aware of Social Security's website, and you can get there just by going to ssa.gov, where you can apply for retirement benefits, you can apply for disability benefits, you can replace your card, your Medicare card, and get information in general. ssa.gov. And I forgot to bring the handouts in here, but they're in the Cyber Cafe. I have a bunch of printed out handouts with this on it, as well as Medicare.gov is on the same handout. And Medicare.gov, if you look at the handout, it'll give you more detailed information. There's actually MyMedicare.gov where you can sign up and you can get more specific information. But we just want to make you aware of those. So now I'm going to actually talk a little bit about computer security. Our colleague Alute developed these slides and couldn't be here, but I'm going to do the best I can with these. So basically, this slide, he's showing you this image here. Is saying this is actually a fake warning, and that's the way sometimes people get tricked into installing basically, I'll call it ransomware, where they hold you hostage and try to tell you need to pay money, and if you don't pay, you can pay money and get your computer unlocked, but don't ever fall for it. It's always fake. If you accidentally get something like this on your computer, you should scan it with antivirus if you can. If you're still able to get into it, and the best, like with everything, the best prevention is worth, a lot more. It is more helpful than trying to clean it, but eventually, if you get something, you would need to clean it. So yeah, basically be careful what you click on. Use caution when clicking on links, especially the forgot your password kind of emails. If you didn't request a password reset and you just get one of these, you should delete the email. It's not legitimate. And basically, if you were to click on a link like that, you can infect your computer with a virus. It's not the end of the world usually. Usually it can be cleaned. Don't trust a message that says, don't trust that it's from somebody you know, even if it says it is. Sometimes viruses actually send out emails to everybody in their address book. And it looks like it's coming from that person, but it's really a virus sending out emails based on saying it's from somebody you know, but it's really not. If you're not expecting a message from somebody, general rule of thumb is, just if it has a link, don't click on it. And he says type the address of your social networking site directly into your browser. So if you want to go to Facebook, instead of clicking on a link that you got, it's better to actually go into the browser. Let me show you what I'm talking about while I'm talking about it. So if I go open a browser window, like Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer, the big three browsers. And apparently I don't have internet access, but that's okay. So basically you just type it in here. Instead of clicking on a link, you would actually type facebook.com or www or whatever. Sometimes you really generally don't need the www. But, so basically that's a safer way to get to any website that you know. Like if you know your bank's website address, type it in directly. Don't trust a link in an email to get you there. Oops. Sorry about that. Almost there. Okay. And also he says, assume that everything you put on a social networking site is permanent. Because things that, and this probably applies to the younger crowd more because they might not realize that things that they post on Facebook or a social media site or anything, that basically it's going to be there for their lifetime. And even though you might be able to delete your account, it's still possible that the information could exist. So just I think of it as like just etiquette in general, but things that you wouldn't say if you can't say it to somebody to their face, don't say it. It's not worth hurting your reputation. We also wanted to point out, kind of moving on now, but this is the Secretary of State's website, and this is a good place to get information about elections and voting. And if you can see the slide, I'll just read it off, but it says you can get information about election results. I think you can get to ballot information here also. I think those are kind of the main things, information about candidates, and you can you can register to vote. They have a printable PDF voter registration form that can be printed out and filled out and mailed in. So common questions about voting. What is absentee voting? How do I vote early? How do I find my polling place? So these are questions that you can find answers to through the Secretary of State's website. There's probably some other websites too, but we wanted to recommend the state one because we know it's legitimate information. And then what's on the ballot. This is ICE, which stands for in case of emergency. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. In this case, it's in case of emergency. So it's basically who you would want to contact in case you were involved in an emergency situation. So it might be your spouse or your child, your sister or brother or your parent. And since everybody carries a cell phone with them, most people do nowadays, it's a good idea to put this information in your phone under ICE as the contact, and emergency professionals, they would ask you for permission to access your phone, to be able to look that up and then call who you designated. I would also recommend people carry that information maybe just handwritten out or typed up in their wallet or their purse also. It's a good idea. Is it safe? Well, if they get a hold of your wallet, they probably have access to your, the credit cards and stuff too, which I'd be more concerned with, but, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess, I think it's a good idea to have contact information at least. It could just be like name and phone number. You don't have to necessarily put their address down. Yeah. And we wanted to point out Credit Karma is a website, and there is also an app that you can use on your phone which allows you to check your credit score to help you stay informed of your credit rating, help you manage your debt and finances, find ways to save money, and track and optimize your score. Credit Karma Works allows you free access to your score anytime. You get exclusive savings based on your score, which I'm assuming is I haven't used it, but I'm assuming in the form of some kind of coupons or something like that. Gives you tools to track your credit score, and gives you credit and finance content, which probably would be like educational information about how to better your credit score, how to keep it, maintain it, and how to calculate and research to find the best interest rates on loans, so like home loans, car loans, that kind of thing. And this, I actually developed this part of the presentation, Google Plus, and I wanted to point it out. It's another social networking opportunity website, so it's plus.google.com will get you to Google Plus. If you already have a Gmail account, you basically already have this, you just might not have used it. And if you don't, you can sign up. Google accounts are free, so Gmail's free, Google Plus, all the tools that Google offers are free. All you need to do is sign up. It's a good idea to get a Google account because you basically have a semi-permanent, but really relatively permanent email address, so you're not dependent upon your internet provider. So if you have like your cable company and you're using that as your internet address right now, but at some point in the future you decided to change to your phone service for DSL, you might lose that email address. But Google, it's always there. You're not dependent upon, and it's free. So I would recommend basically everybody get a Google account. They offer a lot of free things like video calling, phone calling. They offer an Office suite that is free. It's similar to Microsoft Word and Excel. It's all online. It's a little bit different than Facebook, but with Google Plus, that part of the Google tool set is a little bit different in that a lot more people have Facebook accounts than Google account, then use Google Plus. But Google Plus is nice because it lets you really dial in your they call them circles, so you might have a circle that's family, and you might have a circle that's friends, and you might have a circle that's family and friends. So basically when you send out a message, you can send it out to to those groups based, like work friends, or a subset of that, like technology work friends, like those are my circles. So it's kind of nice in that respect. And then within Google Plus, there are communities of interest. So basically, anything you're interested in is most likely there's already a community on Google Plus, and you can go in and search communities. And this is actually how you would look for them. You would go to communities. This isn't really showing up very well, sorry about that. But this is also in a handout that we have over in the Cyber Cafe. So if you wanted to search for a community on brain health, which is the topic of the conference, you just type in the words brain health when you search for communities, and it'll come up with communities related to that. It'll come up with individual posts, and a lot of those are just information. They might have a link to a website where you can get more information. And I actually created, under my personal Google account, I decided to go ahead and create, I did this last year and we talked about it a little bit, but I created a community for, it's called Intergenerational Digital Literacy. And if anybody wants to, please join our community and we can share information with you that way. Marla, I think Benet joined, and Marla has, I don't know if you all are familiar with Marla, but she's does computer literacy education in our St. Louis office. So we can communicate with you that way. Yeah, it's and actually this is on, if anybody who's interested in this, please stop by the Cyber Cafe. I do have the handout printed out over there that actually has this exact slide on it. So any questions? Yeah, any questions about any part, anything technology related, Dolores? I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I imagine that many of the seniors here, like me, are really novices in using technology and our cell phones and our computers.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if you do this session next year, a whole year, you are very good at Android, at making things very simple, really complicated things very simple. So I was wondering if you would print out your own edition of what you're sharing on the slides and share it with us in big.
Yeah, sure. I understand. I don't know if everybody heard, but basically, Dolores, I'll paraphrase, but she's saying like a lot of the seniors might be novices at using computers, or not real confident about what they're doing. I would encourage, and yeah, we try. It's really hard to do detailed information in an hour.
Yes.
It's difficult, and that's why we have the Cyber Cafe as part of the reason the hours over there. But also beyond that, like we're saying, use it or lose it with the the brain stuff. You need to really find a place. If it's a group of friends, or if it's just you and your grandchild, or if it's coming into one of our outreach centers in St. Louis, Kansas City, or the Boot Heel, and getting involved with education and being able to use a computer on a regular basis, and that will help you more than this workshop will. Our goal really in this workshop was to help you become aware of some of the options that are available because of the limited amount of time. Yes.
In Jefferson City, the public library and learning and retirement are working together in office. They often do classes.
Okay, I heard public library, and then what was the other one?
Learning and retirement.
Learning and retirement.
Seniors.
Yes. Where does Learning and Retirement do their classes?
At the library and
The Jeff City Public Library?
At the university.
Okay, Yeah, I didn't know they were doing computer classes. That's great.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know the Jeff City Library has been doing wonderful, St. Louis too. Yeah, I think that's a great resource. Your public library, no matter where you are, is a great resource for learning about computers and having access to computers and technology.
I was excited over the science to get the experience of what it was like. What does cyber really mean?
That's a good question. Greg's might have an answer for that. I'm not sure I do.
And on this side, we couldn't see. Because we had
I'm sorry. Now that you don't need to see the screen, I'll move out of the way. Sorry about that, I apologize. So the term cyber is one of those words that they use to describe an environment that nobody really knows how to describe. It's kind of like saying the cloud. You hear about the cloud, I store my photos on the cloud. Basically, cyberspace, the cloud, is a series of servers that exist in some other location in the US or on the globe. And it is a convenient way to basically just say it resides on a computer somewhere. So, yeah, cyberspace. It's where does the internet exist? On a bunch of computers that exist all over the place. It's not in just one location. It's all over.
It says the definition for cyber is relating to or characteristic of the culture of computer, information technology, and virtual reality, which means, again, the definition of everything you don't know how to define.
Is there any other questions?
Can you put it again, where you get your credit scores sites? I didn't quite write it down.
That one is creditkarma.com. Yeah, credit K-A-R-M-A.
And just one thing to add to what Andrew was saying about that was, it's not only just for finding out what your credit score is, so that you can get a better interest rate on a car loan or something like that, but it's also for people that don't have any debt at all. It's so that they can find out if their identity has been stolen. Because if you have an excellent credit score, and then you check it next month, and all of a sudden it has, it's a lot lower than what it was before, that's a good indication that somebody has stolen your identity, and you can, it's another one of the, yeah, you basically have to prove your innocence if somebody has stolen your identity.
I see this all the time, but I don't know exactly what it means. HTTPS. And then,
Yeah, it's.
You don't have to write this actually on the.
No. If you just type in into the browser bar, the creditkarma.com,
And that's enough.
that will bring it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see this all written all the time, but I don't know exactly.
If your name is relatively common, which means a lot of people have the same name you, or you haven't checked your credit, there's a very good chance there's something on it that's not yours. The more common your name is, the greater the chance. If your name is John Smith, guaranteed there's something on there. But the more common names, the numbers go up drastically of whether there's something wrong. Just because it's so common that it gets assigned the wrong place. So if you're that, definitely check. It's almost 100%.
So you should be concerned if your name is more common.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give you an example of that actually. Growing up, there was two people at my high school named Greg Pearson. And one day I was checking my credit score, and it had actually dropped some, not a lot. But anyway, what had happened is the other Greg Pearson had gone to the ER because he broke his wrist. And whenever they went to bill that, they actually billed my name instead of the correct Greg Pearson. So I was getting calls from all these credit people saying, hey, you need to pay this and everything, otherwise we're going to whatever. And I thought that it was just a scam. I thought it was somebody trying to get my information, trying to get money out of me. But basically, it was just as Ken said, if you have a common name, things will get attributed to the wrong person. So it's definitely something that does occur a lot.
Do they explain to you why your credit is not scoring or whatever? Is there a way for you to know what's wrong with your score?
Right, you can through the credit agencies, you can find out why your credit scores dropped. It might say that you bought a Winnebago in San Francisco or something, for $200,000 or something, and so you will see that charge against your identity.
So it will show
Right.
when you get your credit.
I'm not sure exactly about Credit Karma, but they keep track of what those purchases are against your credit. And so then you can start to follow that trail and work that out. But again, it's one of those processes where you have to say, well, I was never in California buying a Winnebago. I don't have a Winnebago. So you kind of have to prove your innocence that was not you making that purchase.
So there is a site that says after you get the credit score that you can go to and say, why is this, this number rather than a better number?
Yes.
As you go into creditkarma.com?
Yes. It's kind of like your bank statements. It says, here's your total number of money, or in this case, your credit score, and here are the reasons that we've drafted points away from you. Yes, it'll have like the vendor name or something like that, the amount. Any other questions? Well, just real quick. So again, I know we've been pushing the Cyber Cafe, but this time it's called Cyber Cafe, and it's down the hall. So there's actually a location for it. Please come. If you have any questions about anything technology related, even just a question about how to do something on your cell phone, please stop by. I would love to talk with you and do whatever we can.
And we'll be there today until 5. So if you have time between your sessions, and I've got those handouts, so if you want copies of the Google, how to create a Google account, Skype. Oh, please fill out your survey that's on the table, and you can just leave it on the table and we'll collect them. Thanks everybody, appreciate it. You're welcome. Thanks Greg, thanks Benay.
Thank you.